Hey guys, how's it going? Tell everybody we're live. Let's see. Oh, how do I get out of this? Let's see. Go back to this one. Let's go live on TikTok. And on our Discord. Where am I? Let's go live on TikTok. Hey guys. Hey Belle. How's it going? Howdy from Houston. Hey Emily. Good to see y'all. Hey Annie, hey Twinkle. Good to see y'all. Griffith Cat. That's an awesome name. Cats are such funny characters. Funny characters. Still trying to get an oil changed in my car. My mom's car before we go fishing this week. I went out today and they estimated 3-hour wait time. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I tried to make an appointment, made one for Friday. We shall see if I can get it done. Hey, Sag. Good evening. Oh, we've got somebody from Boston. You're Katina. And everybody calls you Kat. That was my grandmother's name was Kat. Her name was Kathleen. Hey, Go-Kart. How's it going? Go-Kart 4. I've tagged the wrong account in that TikTok I made because it's got a 4 at the end. Oh, well. Richards. Good to see you. Good to see you. I thought we'd do some E&M and some cardiology today. I've got some different E&Ms that I wanted to talk about. Working on the consult situation. And where is my E&M? A live thingy tonight. I wanted to do... I'm finishing up typing. Everybody be sure and tell everybody else where you're from. Maybe y'all can find yourselves a good study buddy. Let's see if we had an... Nope, I want to go back. New patient. What if I had a... I'm writing out 5 more questions that I just thought of that I wanted to do for tonight. So give me just a second, and then I'm going to do an established patient. Okay. Got them written. Yay. All right. Thank you guys for the shares and all the likes. I've already got almost 2,000 likes already and haven't done a thing. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for the rose, Emily. Who else gave a rose? We've got... I tried the Chun method. With the ICD-10 book, I didn't seem to think that I needed it there because I had gotten the AAPC version. Thank you guys for helping me achieve the live goal. Thank you very much. You make TikTok very happy with me. Because the Chun basically does what the AAPC book does for us, and it marks the differences between the ICD-10 codes in that green, like the right and the left and all that stuff. So I didn't utilize it very much. I totally went in for the bat thing and then found out during my exam, oh, that wasn't as helpful as what I know now that could be even more helpful. But I never tried the Chun with the IC or the CPT book. I don't even know if it goes with the CPT book or if that's just the diagnosis one. I remember watching her videos on it, but I'm like thinking back to 2019, so my brain's going hard on it. I tried to make a method with a quip, easy thing to say, like the BAD method, BAD, because I thought it was funny because, let's do the BAD method. That could be my method, where you box the mama code with the child code. And then I don't even know if I can remember what I said O was for. O was for, and then the X. We got to say our differences. What's the differences between this one and this one? We got to make sure, like, one's an excision, one's a radical, those kind of things. But it's hard. I've got so many things that I recommend y'all doing. Anytime it says the word open, you circle the word open. Anytime it says close, you circle it with a different color. That way you can tell which of the musculoskeletal words are, or procedures are open, which ones are closed, because that's one big difference in all of those. Anytime you see the word each, you're going to want to make sure you note that, because it can definitely make a difference in knowing whether you can multiply codes or not. Anytime you see the word open, I circle it in green. Anytime you see the word close, I circle it in orange so that it looks like a stop sign and a go sign. I fix the out of code sequences. That's probably what the O stands for in something, but I was spelling box, not bad. Annotate is the A for bad method. Annotate the differences. And then D, whatever D was going to stand for. There were so many things that I have y'all do. So if it's only one, anytime they say the word only, I also make sure I notice that. I make sure that if it's with or without, if it says without, next year I'm going to be drawing a line through whatever it's saying it does without. because I hate the way it does the with and without. But then if it is without, it'll just say without whatever it is. Why even have it mentioned there? I just think it shouldn't even be there. But you got to mark up your parentheticals when it's telling you to use a modifier, when not to use a modifier, when you're supposed to use a code with another code. You need to mark up those. You need to mark up all your do nots when it says don't use a code with another one. You need to move guidelines from the guidelines to the actual codes. A lot of these will tell you that these codes right here are typically not performed. That's just handy dandy information. If you go to each one of those CPT code descriptors, you can add that there, because it's telling you they don't typically do them with the 33741. So you can make those annotations at the codes. That way you don't forget, because AAPC might use that particular guideline and say, well, this and this is the answer. And if you go look up that code and you go look up that code, both procedures will have been done, but there's a reason why you wouldn't code that one with it. So, and it might be that 45 goes with it, not with the 41. Or when they tell you that radiology is included in some of this stuff, you go move that to the codes. Marking your do nots is important. That way you just have everything you need right underneath that CPT code number, because the exam is just CPT code numbers, 100% of them. Thank you for the heart arrow thing. That was cool. Every time anything is venous, I keep my book like the Appendix L is at. When you look back here at Appendix L, they've got all the venous marked in blue, and then they've got all the arteries marked in red. So I keep the same thing throughout the whole entire cardiology book. I mark whether a procedure is in a venous or if it's both venous and arterial. That's super helpful during the cardiology area, because most of the time you just need to find out if you're arterial or venous or both, and then count how many grafts or whatever else was done to the patient. That helps you pick out your procedures. This is an open procedure on an artery, and it's unilateral. Everything you need to know, and you don't need to search and read the CPT code descriptor during your exam. I can also ×2 this one, even though it doesn't have an each beside it or in it, and that is super helpful, because if we're going to make it bilateral, then we ×2 it. Some of them you add the bilateral modifier to them. Some of them you don't. You got to read your guidelines, but they're far away from the procedures. And if you don't go move that data, then you don't know it during your exam, unless you remember to go look at the guidelines. Nobody's got time for all that. It's a lot of prep work. It really is a lot of prep work, but it's better than studying. We're not having to memorize anything. The answers are going to be right there for you as you are trying to decide which answers are correct, which answers are not. One more thing is, especially in digestive system, if you haven't yet, what is super important here is marking what body part am I in, especially where the hernias are. Where are the hernias? If I'm in the tail end area and the mouth, great, that's where these codes are at. But if I move to a different area where I'm only in the bladder or only in a uterus or something like that, super nice to be able to put that. Everything under this page is under a urethra. Everything under that page is a bladder. I do that throughout the urology one, I know for a fact. I'm going to expand on that on some more things, especially the ear, because some of these are mastoid is being repaired, and then another one is another part of the ear being repaired. That will be helpful to keep you on point where you're at. Like that one's bladder. This side is bladder, but this side is ureter. And then if we go back, we'll have ureter there. And then go back, we've got kidney on this side and ureter on that side. That's super helpful just to know, first off, where am I working on? What are these CPT codes poised at? I'll do some more probably, especially in this musculoskeletal. I got one little word there, but we do better here. Some of their bones, when you're working on fractures, one important thing is bones have different sides to them. Did I draw it on this one? I didn't draw it on this year. I drew it last year's. Okay. So each bone has a top, middle, and bottom. You really need to learn your words for those. If you're distal, proximal, if you're at the head or the neck of the bone, because that's dependent on where your fracture is at. Depends on which CPT code you're going to hit, because there'll be a tibia fracture in one area of musculoskeletal down here near the distal end of the bone, but then there'll be another tibia fracture near the proximal end, or the neck of the bone, and they'll be in two different locations. So if you haven't figured out what bone, what area of the bone, and then what type of fracture, you got to have all three of those matching before you do anything else on those fractures. So that's important to know. Thank you for the ice cream cone. Baltimore. Highly recommend buying Jen's notes. It really helps the exam. I hope it does help. That's the purpose of making them for you. I wish I'd had something I could have purchased back in the day that was helpful. I did purchase a year's worth of information from a company that's been out there for decades. And when I took the exam, I found it not to be as helpful as I thought it could have been, because all they were telling me and what I paid for was the info in the front of the book about how to use your CPT book. So you have instructions up here about how to use this book, and then it talks about what's important and what comes after the semicolon, that this semicolon has the key differences between the child and the parent code. And one company sells notes that's all they're selling is for you to know and to write deep right there, or for you to know and write superficial there for like those two codes. Well, that's not helpful. I mean, it's already there for you. You can read that. You don't need to go through the whole book and rewrite superficial there and deep there. It's already there. What you need to know is what kind of code with it. Can I times it? Can I multiply it? What modifiers go there and what kind of body parts go there? So this is the top of the muscle, and this is underlining inside the muscle, like femur, humerus, vertebral bodies, those kind of things. That's more helpful to know. What does deep mean? What the heck does that mean? And what does superficial mean? That means you're on top of the muscle. So those kind of things you learn as you take the exam. You need some AKA terms that go along with these CPT codes that come from the questions, because they're not going to say exactly on every single question, word for word, what's in the CPT code descriptor. They're going to say stuff that's in the parentheses, which I found out, which is anything that says EG. If they say clip, metallic pellet, or wire should be added in on this, then it's going to be that answer versus something else that doesn't say it. So what's in the parentheses, I found out was way more helpful. Yeah. But my notes last year, I get a little overzealous sometimes and make them probably a little bit more than what you really needed. But I like to define words that you might not understand or know what bulla means, Serona fluid, or it means a blister, those kind of things. You don't technically need to have all of that. What you need is just what's underneath the CPT code descriptor. But and underlining the examples or things from the guidelines is okay, but you're not going to have time to read this during the exam. The reason I highlighted is for you to look at it before the exam, but you really won't have time to look at that during the exam. You really need to move whatever we need to the codes, because you're just going to have time to look up that number, see what one word difference it is, and then move on to the next one and see what the one word difference is. And that's it. You're not going to have time to go read guidelines and stuff. But so there is stuff here you don't need. So, but there's still a lot of stuff that is really cool. And it is helpful to at least write it all once. That way you've at least heard it, seen it once, and might remember where you put that info during your exam in case you need it. Everybody's been making 100% on the anatomy last month. I'm so happy to see those scores, and compliance scores have been going up to 100. I saw somebody today sent me a list of their scores, and they had 100 in anatomy and 100 on compliance. And I know that's from the document what's been on the exam in the last 45 days too. So that's super cool. Thank you, Mel, for all the gifts. Shanna says that's around the time that I got certified, so I could be outdated. Yeah, I can't remember. All of the chum stuff was in 2018. I have to rewatch her stuff to see if it is helpful, but I don't watch anybody else. I just do my own little thing and don't worry about nobody else, whatever they're saying. Everybody's got their own opinions, and what works for one person might not work for another one. Some people can't take me and my voice, and that's just fine. I know I'm hard to get used to. And the kids are always interrupting and stuff, but they're getting a little bit better with that, I have to say, knock on wood. But I'm just here to help. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I do like for y'all to make your own notes. I do have a list of all the instructions on how to make your own notes. Thank you, Anointed. Girl, you're so sweet. I know you've been asking me something, either emails or Messenger too. I can't remember if I answered all of you or not. I get so many messages. It's crazy. But yeah, just to go over, these are all the unanswered messages just for today. I got to get to at some point. I don't know. They're still going. I got all those done, but I still got to get all these done. So it's a lot. But I'm happy to help. But my medicalcodingbyjen.com website has so much free information on it too. So sorry, I was getting yep. Don't forget to go to the CPT book prep page, because it's got pictures of my notes, and you click on that picture and it'll tell you what I did throughout the entire book. And you can make your own notes just like I did. It'll show you how to do anatomy, ICD-10, all of it. So, and there's free book prep videos there for digestion, and then the rest are on YouTube. Of course, there is, under the social media link, we've got our Facebook group, our TikToks, our YouTubes, where all these videos get republished, and then our Discord. Discord is super cool because I have rooms with practice exam questions in them. I got all kinds of resources for all sorts of books. You can also post questions in our main chat room, and just get help 24 hours, 7 days a week when I'm not around, or can't get to everybody. There's even cases of practice exam cases. There's CCS people, CCOC, CPMA, CRC, compliance and regulatory, anything you need to know, it's all there. If you can't find it on the AAPC website too, we've even got what to expect on exam day resources right there. Also, if you've never used Discord before, go down to the Discord tip room. The first thing you should do and watch the first video, which is there, and I'll show you how to use Discord. But you can, it's super cool. So hang out in here. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, if you're shy, but you can message me there. I do get to these. Before I get to Messenger and email, they just chime up on my phone faster and I get used to being in here. Not that I'm not trying to get everybody's answered questions on email and Messenger. I even have Twinkle helping me out with emails. So, I just have to go into the emails and forward her everything and see if she can't help me out. But I'm trying, my loves. All right. Which notes did you purchase on mail? She asked. You can get them off my website too, not just on Etsy. Etsy just has the CPT book prep notes. My website has the ICD-10 ones and the HipPix notes on there with the CPT. I post them on my website cheaper so that, because you don't have to pay the Etsy fees. So if you're talking about notes and buying them for help, what I'd like to see them utilized as is you study, you take your exam, your certification exam, and if you don't pass, you'll get this printout of how you did in each subject matter, the 1000s, the 2000s, the anatomy, whatever. And if there's a subject that you did super low on, like lab and path or medicine, which is a big section of the book, or even musculoskeletal or cardiology, pick your lowest area that you need to bring up and buy those notes. And then you've got my notes to back you up. And then you study the other areas to bring up those easier. And by looking at my notes, sometimes just getting one section plus what I've got posted on my website free showing you how to make your own notes, you'll get what I'm doing and you'll be able to create your own notes too. I hate for y'all to spend more money, but they are there if you need them. I know y'all got membership fees and to pay to take the exam. You got books to buy and practice exam questions I want y'all to buy from AAPC. You're already in it for over $600 before I even get involved. And I'm just trying to help you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. So I like to teach for free. I think education should be free for everybody, no matter what subject you're on. So I do love to teach for free, but I do have one-on-ones if you need it. And then I'd like to do workshops, but workshops are $10. And we do those on Sundays, once a month. I was trying to do them twice a month, but I got too busy. It's audit season at work. So now we'll do them once a month. And I'm going to be doing it around October 23rd, I think, this month will be our next workshop. If y'all want to do one. And did I say we were doing neuro again? E&M? What are we doing on our workshop? I got to remember what I said. Urinary is a very detailed section. Oh my gosh. Yep. When it says with and without, I leave it alone. But when it just says without, I mark it out. There is no reason for it to be there. None whatsoever. Thank you for the mic. What is this other thing it's wanting me to do? Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to. Okay, we'll do that. Let's see. It's saying, okay. Saying I got to set that. Okay. I got a subscription goal. We have one person who's a subscriber now. That's so funny. And then I got to set another goal because y'all did all those roses so quickly. Did I get a galaxy the other night? That was pretty, whatever that was. Ooh, how about just the TikToks? Because those are only 1 penny. Yeah, I like that. Those are cool. I've never seen those. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Kat. Hello, Jen. Are you offering any discount codes for this month? Should be. Yes. Yes. I haven't changed anything. So on Etsy, that's the coupon code for Etsy. And if you've ever purchased any previous year notes and you want to upgrade to the new notes, remember to get in contact with me because I can make you your own coupon for 70% off. So if you ever bought 2001 and now you want 2003s, I'll just create you a coupon. And this is for my website. The coupon code for it is I will be CPC. You're going to book your test tomorrow. Yeah, you want to get it done before the end of the year. I don't blame you. I don't know what changes they're doing for CPT, but so far the ICD-10 guidelines look the same. There's a couple of added clarification sentences on some of the guidelines, which they needed so far, but nothing big. I know we've got 2,100 and something new ICD-10 codes this year. Last year we had 200. So they really put in a bunch of new ones. So, yeah, that'll be fun to see. Thank you for all the roses. You're scheduled for your first attempt on. Thank you, Anointed. Scheduled for November. Oh, try not to stress. I mean, too much, Anointed. Think of it as a learning, day too. You don't know what to expect. I can explain it, but you just never know till you get there what you're facing and what type of questions they are. Just please remember to go the answers first. Look up the codes first. Don't read the question. Go to the codes. Find out what do I need from the question to make one of these codes correct. Do I need it to say the patient was in observation or that they have wheezing or asthma, something that you would observe, in head injury? You would observe that for a few hours before you let them go home. Nausea, vomiting, stuff that you would observe. Or did they get admitted into the hospital? Then you would see an admission. You would see the word admit. You would find something that means that they're going to stay overnight. And be admitted with orders. So look for those differences in the question. Don't read the question. You technically, in a lot of places, unless you're in anesthesia or in E&M, you don't need to know a lot about their ages. Some of the hernias, yes, you need ages, but a lot of times you don't need to know who they are, why they're there, their history and all that stuff. You just need to know what the differences are and look for that. And if you see you're struggling and you've lost all hope, you can absolutely go through your book and take a highlighter. If you're taking your exam in person, highlight the codes that were used on your exam as possible answers. Then when you get home, if you don't pass your first attempt, you can audit these codes, see what the differences are, figure out why they would have picked those codes and paired them up together like that, and know what you're different words would have been. This would have been any method. This is just an evacuation. This is a debridement. We would have scrubbed or irrigated skin. This is an avulsion. We would have removed this matrix if we did an avulsion. That's where the nail grows if we did an avulsion. If we didn't do that and we just got rid of a hematoma, which is that black bloody spot that you get underneath your nail, and we drilled a little hole in it and popped it and let the blood come out, release the pressure, that's the evacuation. They will pair these up together, and you just got to pick out which procedure did you do. Did you poke a hole in it? Did you remove the matrix of the bed? Or did you just irrigate and wash it out? Or did you do a wedge, that's what this code is up here for. A wedge resection, which is this one, where you cut out the wedge part right there, which would have been right in here, is what you remove. That's not going to show up as well as the matrix did, but those kind of things, that's all you need to look up through the question. If it said matrix, then you know right away it's going to be your 30 or 32, depending on how many they did. You took your first attempt on September 23rd and you passed. First attempt, hot dog. Awesome job, Mommy. Fantastic. I hope I helped out just a little bit. I don't know if you were watching me before you took it, but that is great. You're taking your CCS tomorrow morning with AHEMA. I've been looking through y'all's AHEMA book. I just love this thing. Y'all got some really cool questions, and your book starts out with like easy questions, and then it'll go to intermediate questions, and then it'll have another chapter with advanced questions, which is really cool. I wish CPC or AAPC would do that too. They just give us 50 questions, and some of them are easy, some of them are medium, but the study book or their whole curriculum just goes by chapter or by the 1000s, 2000s, whatever, but they don't do degrees of difficulty in each chapter. I like the way that AHEMA does their education with the degrees of difficulty even inside each chapter. It's a better way of learning because you don't want to move past the easy ones if you ain't got that down to go to intermediate. So I like that. I like the way they do some of their education. You got a 70%. That's all that matters. No one in the world is going to care or ask about that score ever again. As long as you passed, hot dog. And then you just got to do your CEUs now. Don't forget to get those done. Flawless is on her 5th attempt. You're not the only one. I've had people that have found me on their 10th attempt and are just now finding me. So, and I've been doing these free teachings here on TikTok since April of 2021. So, I'm glad you found me. I hope I can help. I hope I can make a difference. I wanted to take my test before December, but I'm not ready. COC tests are hard for me. They are a little bit more difficult. They're a little bit more technical for sure. Hopefully you've got the COC practice exam questions from AAPC. They have, right here, I've got them all too. They've got also an A, B, C, D, E, and F for COC. So be sure and purchase all of those from AAPC. And, it isn't going to hurt to go on and get an updated. If you don't already have or have already had, then don't buy them because they don't renew them but once a year or whatever, maybe. Some of their questions are still the same questions since 2019. I wish they would update them more often, but these are not bad to have. And then for COC, you're going to be more inpatient hospital stuff. So you could buy the general surgery practice questions. maybe even the urology would be good for you too, because that would help you out. But the general surgery practice questions probably would be the most helpful. Those practice questions come in 11 questions all on one test or all on one case. This one is 11 questions all on one case, but they go over how do you code the E&M for this visit? What modifier do you use? What secondary E&M code do you use? There's another modifier. There's the main procedure. What modifier would you put on the main procedure? Then they'll go into the diagnoses, and then they'll ask you anatomy term, and then one more Medicare question. But these general surgery ones might help you with that COC if you're looking for some extra special something else to build your skills up with. They're just cases, but always go to your answers first. Look up the differences between those codes. Have that in mind. Then search your question. It's all you got to do. Inguinal hernia. You know which one's going to be inguinal. Is it going to be the 9.5s or the 9.6s? That's the first thing you get rid of. Then you pick out, where is the abdominal? Is it abdominal hernia? Where is it at? This one's got the mesh. And then you pick out your diagnosis. So those general surgery ones might help you out with the COC if you've already done all the A, B, C, D, E, and F of COCs. But anyway, that's my thought on that. Get my live up for tonight. I did the CPC, so just starting out. Awesome. Thank you for loving my notes, Mommy. I'm glad they helped. Should we read the textbook? Should you have the textbook read out loud to you while you're doing laundry and dishes a couple of times? Heck yeah. That's, listening to me or listening to your study guides, or where am I at Vitasource here? Is that where we're get these bookshelves? Where are we at? Yeah, let me go back down to there's my store. So like if you're doing whatever course, it comes with, of course, one of these books from them. What you can do is go to like your evaluation and management right here, chapter 44. Come over here to this little thing and then have it read it out loud to you. That way you can have it playing in the background while you're doing laundry or dishes or cooking dinner, painting your toenails, whatever, your self-maintenance, whatever. Have it read it to you. And then if you see anything that you like or want to move, especially if you get down to the little quizzes that are here in the chapter somewhere, like these little quiz answers are here, be sure and move these scenarios with the answers to your CPT book or your ICD-10, whatever they are. Be sure to move those to there. But that's how I would do this, is I'd have it read to me, because who has time to stare at a book for that long? We're all busy working and family life and everything else. But I would stop at those quizzes in the chapter and move those to here. Hey, Miss Jen. The 16th is okay with me, and thank you very much. Anointed. You were asking, oh yeah, I was having to move you or something, right? I was doing something with you. I remember something was important because I forgot I was fishing with my mom and forgot to block that week. Thank you for all the TikToks. Man, 31 of them and 40 roses. Y'all are so awesome. Let's see. Brecken. Hey, Jen, I believe I'm tutoring with you tomorrow, Michigan. So I believe it's 11 a.m. Girl, I hate time zones. Okay, so right now it is 7:15 p.m. at night with me. So I don't know what time that is with you. And yeah, I got a couple of y'all tomorrow. I'm going to have to stop scheduling 2 a day because of my work soon. Audit season. So you're one of my last ones. Where am I at? Tomorrow is the 6th. Right? Tomorrow is what day? Yes, 6th. I have Brenda at 9 a.m. and Nidra at 10:30. Y'all are back to back. So I think I had a little, yeah. So I've got 9 a.m. my time. If that time's not good with you, anytime before her or after her, I can do. She just needs her hour and a half there. So that's what I got. What? Michigan? Michigan, you're in the center of the United States. So, or is that 2 hours away from me? So is that 9, 10, 11? So that sounds good. Is that right? That might be right. So I got you 9 a.m. I can do you as early as 8:30 because that's when the boys leave for school. So we could get started early if you felt like it. So that'd be 10:30 your time. But anyway, I got one more right after you. So we can't run late is all. And let me find Anointed. Anointed was next week, right? I may have already moved it. I'm not sure. Because I'm not going to be around. So if I got anybody scheduled for, I got Liza on the 11th and Erica on the 13th. Those have to be rescheduled. Which one are you, Anointed? All right. Can I borrow your brain during the exam, Susie? I wish you could. I swear I wish I could. I'm going to try to proctor for exams next year in January through December for 1.25 in Las Vegas. So you could have me in the room with you. Maybe you could get some good mojo off of me being in the room with you while you take your exam in person. Thanks, Go-Kart. Aw, it's okay. Oh no, Red, it didn't go off. I hate that. Any help with practice code? Yes. Mommy, absolutely. We do have help with practice code. In my Discord group, I do have practice code room somewhere. Right there, I have a practice code room, and I actually have a mentor for you guys. Somebody that has finished practice code, and it took her like 3 months to finish all of it. Her name is Wonderful Vision 01 in our Discord group. She is offered to help you guys pass Practicode, and go pick her brain, please. Tutoring session for October 16th. I'm available. Awesome, Anointed. I just have to match up the name that is scheduled with your name here to get you moved because I don't know everybody. Multiple names on multiple websites. It gets crazy knowing who's who. Are you the Erica or Liza that I need to reschedule? Thank you for following. Yeah, be sure and follow if you're not already. And then you have to click the little bell that's up there in the top part when you get to my name. And it will tell you you can click the option to go alert you when I go live. It's set at some default that won't alert you, so you got to go change it physically. And if you do join a subscription, either here on TikTok or on YouTube, I will make your own videos on your own questions. So TikTok subscribers can message me on TikTok and I'll make videos based off what you want me to make the lesson on, and also on YouTube too. Workshops are well worth the money. Yep. $5 an hour is what I think about, the charge of the $10, and they're 3 hours long and there's no talking on it. I just go from question to question. It's just full practice questions on whatever subject we make. And then you get the third hour free as my bonus. So you pay for 2 hours, you get 3 hours, and you get to watch the replays whenever you want. So if you can't be there on a Sunday, you can still watch the replays, even if you buy it ahead of time. Yeah, it's a Zoom on Sundays. We will not be doing it until October 23rd. Thank y'all for all the gifts. What does or did trap mean on page 21? Oh, it's a trap. No one's ever in the ER on the CPC exam. ED plus ER equals trap. It's a trap. Anytime the CPC exam question says ER, or ED doctor did this, ED doctor did that, whatever, it's a trap. No one's ever in the ER unless you're dealing with a question that has nothing but 99282, 83, 84, and 85 as possible answers, A, B, C, or D. That's what that means. It's a trap. Don't ever pay attention to the word ED or ER in any exam questions whatsoever. Ignore them like they're not even written in there. You got to go find out what your patient's status is. That doesn't mean physical location. That means what the doctor has deemed them to be. Can they leave, physically leave right now? If they can't, if they're under observation, if we're going to watch them for a few hours, that means they're under observation. If it says they're here for follow-up or following day, admitted yesterday, the last 2 days, well, heck, there are going to be subsequent visits, that kind of thing. It says, congrats, I achieved a subscription goal. Whoever got this. Oh, Anointed subscribed. Oh, she's going to be sending me a lot of requests. Okay, I want a video on this and I want a video on that. That's awesome. That'll help me keep focused and produce more videos too of what y'all need, instead of me coming up with, okay, what do I think they want to see? So that'll be awesome. Thank you, Anointed. All right. Okay, I am going to start a coding class. If I test in 2023, can I use the 2023 book? Yeah. Now, Christy, you may have answered that wrong or written it out wrong, but if you're going to test in 2023, last year I didn't mind. I let many people passed with their 2021 books in 2022. Which was fine. I even have a document that'll turn your 2021 books into a 2022 book, because we only had 200 new codes in ICD-10 or in CPT, and that was doable. You're already going to be touching all the codes anyway, and it was easy just to fill in. It was 4 new codes in E&M. That's all it was. And then there's like 4 new codes in each section. It wasn't bad. It was 200, but it was easy to do when you spread it out. But this year we've got over 2,000 new CPT codes and 2,000 new ICD-10 codes. I don't think I'm going to be able to recommend you using in the 2022 books, which is unfortunate and more of a cost and painful for me to say. I'm always trying to think of a new way for you guys to save money and not have to spend another $100 per book. Optum has a sale on right now. Twinkle found it today for cheaper than Amazon even, $107. You can get a 2023 CPT book and its E&M companion guide shipped to you for free for $107 from Optum. Now, when you get the ICD-10 books and the HipPicks, I recommend you getting the AAPC ones. And get them from Amazon, because they do have an Amazon store, so you get free shipping. But you need to get the AAPC versions because they have decision trees and some Medicare compliance information. Their books are 800 pages long just for HipPicks, which Optum's or other versions of HipPicks are only 400 pages long, if that. Some of them are only 200 pages long. It's just not enough information in it and not enough of the appendixes that they test over for you to use that. So be sure and get the AAPC versions of the ICD-10s. And I think we're going to have to get everything in 2023. I'm hoping we can keep our 2022 AAPC HipPicks and use it. But we do have 2,000 ICD-10 codes. And that's a lot of codes. I need to see if they're all in one section or two sections, or if it's spread out through the entire book, because that'll make a difference. If it's just one section, just in like cancer codes, well, I know you're going to have one question on cancer, but you only have 5 questions on ICD-10. So the likelihood that they picked a new code from one chapter, well, I could give you the updates on that. If it's nothing else in any of the other chapters, then great, but it's probably going to be spread out throughout the entire book. And I haven't looked that far into it to see what all the new codes are. I know I make it sound easy and simple, but it's a lot. Yeah, I'm way behind on the comments. I can't catch up. I'm going to have to go down. I'm missing 40 of the comments, so I had to skip them. I can't get caught up. Sorry, guys. So if you have a question that Twinkle or somebody else couldn't answer and I did not answer it, just ask it again, because I had to hit down to the bottom. Thank you for all your time and effort. Yep, I need to get to these practice questions. Will you be doing anything for 2023 E&M changes? I'll be doing everything for it. But we're going to wait till the exam changes before I do lives about it here on TikTok. I will be doing lives on YouTube as I'm doing CPT book prep. The books won't be coming out till the 15th. I am home on the 15th. So the new books will be coming out on the 15th. Well, they probably won't get shipped out to the 15th. We'll probably get all the new books on the 17th. But between now and then, I've got to finish our ICD-10 book. So I'm already doing 2023 YouTube lives on the ICD-10 new book that we do have. And I've already been working on the guidelines. I've got to get going on finish up the guidelines this week so I can do the anatomy and the CPT codes next week, so I can get all of this done. So when the new CPT book comes out, we'll be all done with this book for sure. But sepsis, I like how they moved the guidelines for sepsis to the front of the ICD-10 book here. If you remember last year, our ICD-10 book, it did not have any guidelines for sepsis before you started coding it, because the guidelines were in, this is just an index, the guidelines were up here in the front of the book in the G whatever guidelines. Well, AAPC's version of this new book has taken upon itself to do what I did to, which I hope it's because of me, telling them and blasting them and getting them to move all their sepsis guidelines to the codes before you code them. They have created the guidelines, new, updated, and put in a page, 3 pages and a half of guidelines before we code this section, which will be all new for us to code and go through before we code these. I even see they moved some of the COVID guidelines here too. So that's cool. Neat new addition. I can tell you that's going to be helpful if you are testing in the 2023 year. Optum, nobody else is going to have something like that. And this is cool. You're going to want that. And we'll be making more notes. And now we even have more room for notes that we didn't have before on these codes. So they're changing. They're learning. It's cool. We need those guidelines right before you code them. That will save and help out a whole bunch. You're welcome. Yeah, it does. And they pick questions straight from their own books. Where are the codes for the update, the 2021 ICD-10? So that, let me pull that up real quick. So go to medicalcodingbyjen.com on Etsy. Let's see. Oh, please get out of there. Okay. Where are the ones? Let's see. That's the CPT, to change your CPT book from a 21 into a 22. And then I do not have a tabbing system. That is not for me. Who is this medical coding girl? That is not my store. Okay. Right here. No, that's the guy. Is that the guidelines? Yep, that's ICD-10. This is it right here. Changes your ICD-10 book from a 21 into a 2022. Is that what you were asking about? Yes, don't tab your book. That's a waste of time. Don't do that. Don't tab your books. Don't tab your books. Just looking through. It's so cool. You get sucked into Etsy and see what all they're selling. Yeah, it's got more information in it. Plus it tells you the differences between the codes a whole lot easier, for sure. All right, let's do some E&M real quick. We're going to learn our consultations, what qualifies as a consultation or not. All right, let's go see 99252. If you don't have out your book and you're not trying to flip to the pages as we do, that's a real skill. Just even getting to the codes, you'd think it'd be easy, but it's not. A lot of the codes are rearranged. They're out of order. They don't say they're out of order. And it's just a hot mess. So trying to get to the codes is one thing. So we know our 99252 is I haven't shown you the question or the answers yet, but I'm just showing you the codes. This is our hospital consult. Our next answer is a 99243, which is over here under office consultations. So we're just going to put office consultations. Our next option is 99203, which is our new patient. Remember, headers before descriptors, always new, and then we put office. So we have new patient, office, headers before, inpatient, and then our code, consultation. And then we have a 92002, which is a medicine section, eye appointment. So this is, if you're taking your exam online, you can have a dry erase board beside you, and you can write things like this down. You can have on your dry erase board, you could write A, B, C, D, just have it pre-written on it, and then you could write next to A, hospital consultation, outpatient consult, new office visit, and medicine section, eye appointment. Something like that. You make up your own lingo, whatever you want, but please be sure and go look up the codes differently. The only thing I'm going to search the question for is, I don't care who they are, don't care what history they got going on. I need to know who asked for the consult, because it's a guideline question. Depending on who asked for the consult, depends on what I'm answering, right? So we're going to go here. Oh, good Lord. Go to my bottom question. Just make sure we do have a low complexity. We have a detailed history. Sometimes we don't even need that information. But as I see it, we have a detailed exam. Who asked for the second opinion? Who asked for it? There was somebody there's this guy who reads the Harry Potter books on here, on TikTok. And he does like this, where he types in the questions somehow and has his people answer it and then picks a winner, because whoever gets all the answers right wins or something. And he sends them a Harry Potter wand from the UK. And he does it, I don't know, once a week. And I'm like, how does he get his questions? And then how does TikTok know who answered? And I don't know. I got to figure out how to do that, because I would love to type these questions into TikTok and then y'all answer them and then give away prizes for who can answer them. That would be fun. I just got to figure out how to do it. Rosalind's correct. Your first sentence says a second opinion is requested by an 80-year-old patient. So that gets rid of everything that is a consult. You can't bill a consult when the patient's is the one who requested it. If it's their idea, you can't do anything but bill a new patient visit. Always. Even if the insurance company requests or demands a second opinion, that still always will be a new patient visit. If a patient used to see a specialist and decided to go back to that specialist, if they weren't referred back to that patient, to that specialist, it's still a new patient if that doctor sees that patient. Always. Some of the comments were filtered to protect the community experience. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank you for the 11,000 likes. That is awesome. guys. And then, gosh, it's making me reset the goal again. There we go. I didn't pick out any. Making them happy so they get rid of my screen. So I hope that makes sense. Always just read the first sentence, find out who wants the second opinion. That's all you got to find out. We didn't even need to know anything about detailed or exam or the low MDM. It didn't even come into play with this one because we know we're billing a new patient no matter what. All right. What is our 223? What kind of office visit or E&M code is that one? Gonna wait for y'all to tell me. A 99223. What kind of office visit is that? Or hospital or observation? What is it? Don't be shy. There's 41 of you in there. What is that? Anybody know what a 99223 is? Admit hospital. I like to change the word initial to admit. That way you know it's the day they admitted or night that they admitted the patient. Admit hospital. That way you don't get confused with subsequent. Some of the wording is crazy. What is our 245? Good job, Go-Kart. Good job, Will. Good job, Libra. Hey, Sunshine. Good job, Susie. Yes, we've got office consult. Big difference. What's our 255? Hey, Jenny. Good to have you here. Don't forget to hit that follow button, guys. What is our 99255? That is our hospital consult. Yep, they got to be on the floor of a hospital to do this one. And our 221 is another admit hospital. Knowing AAPC, it's probably a difference between A and D, but we're going to check and make sure. Let's see if our patient is by chance getting a consult, but I doubt it. We'll see. We'll see. What do you guys think? An attending physician did request a consult for an inpatient, radiologist, though, for a second opinion. Do we get consults for radiology? Is the radiologist going to go to the patient, see the patient in their patient room, take their history, do a full body exam on the patient, and come up with a medical decision? Is that something that a radiologist does? Nope. So be very careful. Just because you see an attending physician request a consult, don't run to that consult and pick it. What kind of physician? Radiologist. Radiologist, if they're not going to do a history, an exam, or an MDM on a patient in their room, talk to their families, all that good stuff, and do a full exam on them, then they can't bill an E&M visit. This is what we call a hallway consult. We'll get a doctor to look, a radiologist to review another scan or review previous scans to see if there's been any changes. So, what is going to be billed on this visit? Since we see that the patient is an inpatient patient, we're going to have to go see. That one's not admit, is it? 223? Is that subsequent? No, that's a 24. 24 is our subsequent. I think it technically should be a subsequent, but technically, since they're already in the hospital, technically, this doctor has already seen this patient, admitted this patient. This technically is a subsequent visit, but the question is worded way wrong. All right, our MDM is high. Where's our exam? Is it going to show us comprehensive? And then what's our history? Do we have any history? Comprehensive history. So we have a comp history, we have a comp exam, and we have a high complexity. So we know we can bill RA. Those are the best answers out of the options, but technically this would be a subsequent visit. Technically. Terrible question. I didn't work it before I gave it to you guys. Oh. If you see something like that on the exam and there is a subsequent available, it's definitely a subsequent visit. Because you don't admit them, have a CT come back, and then ask the doctor to re-look at the CT. It's just, that makes no sense. It's a subsequent visit, but anyway, that's all right. All right. Our 223 again, that's our admit hospital, right? What's our 254? That's hospital consult, isn't it? Yep. That's our hospital consult. So's our 55. Our 45 is office consult. You really want to get good enough like that to do something like that. Let's see. We've got a cardiology consultation requested for an inpatient patient. So let's make sure it is for cardiology. It's not for radiology. So we should be okay getting rid of our admit one, right? And since they're inpatient, we know we can get rid of the office consultation. We just need to know our differences between the 5-4 and the 5-5. So hospital consultations are 3 of 3, meaning we have to have our history match, we have to have our exam match, and our MDM match. So all I'm going to go look for out of this question are those 3 things. So where is our history? Her history is negative. Her exam is comprehensive. Comprehensive. And then what's our MDM? MDM is high. But did it say anything about what the history was? History reveals no previous. She relates that her first episode was 3 months ago. You think it's a complex history? Does it say it? Comprehensive history reveals. There you go. Perfect. So we do have a comp history. Sometimes they're hard to find. I haven't worked these questions. I just grabbed them because I thought they were cool. So We're comp high. You just match up what's in the CPT book. Our comp high is our 5.5. Yep, we would bill that. And the rest of it, we don't need to know none of this other mess. We don't need to be reading that. Yep. Don't be reading that. Nope. All right. What is our 232? 99232. Subsequent. I get these questions from AAPC. They are the best questions to get. If you missed it earlier in the live, you'll see, let's see, where am I at? I know I got something pulled up here of all my mess. Yeah, I've purchased quite a few from all their specialties. So, yeah. Some of them, some students send me from their courses that they take. 99282. Some of them I write myself, but very few. Very, very few. I really prefer to use theirs because they're the closest you're going to get to what's on the exam. And if I do write them myself, I create them with you guys sitting here watching me do it. 99282. I did that on the Moz the other night. This one is our new patient. And this was another ER. Have we finally got somebody in the ER? Because we do have 2 ERs. Got a patient ankle. Did they keep them? Would you keep a patient in the hospital for an ankle sprain? No. It just wouldn't be a subsequent visit, right? And since they are in the ER, they're not going to be a new patient. We're not doing a consult for anything. So we just have to match our ERs. So we just need to match our history, our exam, and our MDM. They're probably not going to have any history of it, right? Their exam is expanded problem focused history. So our ER expanded problem focus goes with our 83. So we can write that code right there. Our exam is the same thing, and that goes with 83. We always say the highest it'll be. And then our MDM is low. Our MDM is an 82. We are a 3 of 3 component. So what does that make this answer? Look at all my lovelies. Yes. Levy, you see that? Oh, I love your TikTok mom. I love your the TikTok mom. That's awesome. I should be the TikTok coder, the TikTok medical coder. That's funny. I love it. Yeah, I love B. B is the answer. We have to have them all match. If one is low, they're all low. The guideline states you have to meet a level to code it or exceed it to code it. Meet or exceed. The MDM is low, so they're all low. Perfect. The TikTok medical coder. I wonder if I could make one that long. Because if I've just put coder, I figured out I get the nerd tech guys around. Let's see. 99236 is what? 99236. That's an observation. Good gracious. Kids are making all kinds of noise. But it's a special observation. Be sure to read or underline or highlight the third sentence in that CPT descriptor because it does admit and discharge on the same day. That's very important distinction when you're doing observation. R325 is out of sequence, and that's on page 23. Right? Or is that a different one? 325. Same day. That is a new patient domicile. Technically, a SNF, skilled nursing, is usually what it is. Skilled nursing, new patient. R342 is also a new patient. 342 is new, but it's done at their home. And then 308. They're all over the place. We've got subsequent. Yeah, domiciles have lots of names. You can call them assisted living facilities. You can call them skilled nursing facilities. You usually only bill once per month and add the time from all the visits and bill it all at once. There's a whole bunch of guidelines with those suckers. But just having down the AKA terms is super helpful because nobody uses domicile anymore. Nobody uses the word boarding home anymore, and nobody usually uses the custodial care services anymore. They'll say skilled nursing facilities or assisted living facilities, those kinds of things is what's used now. All right. So we do have custodial care center listed, which is right underneath the 325. Did we have another one that was? Nope, that's the only one. Custodial care center, that's all we needed. It's definitely not going to be subsequent. We're not home health and we're not observation. So easy peasy one right there. All we needed was those 3 words and didn't have to read anything else of that question. Patient was a new patient. Yep. All right. We've got our 222. Light bulb went off. I'm so glad I found you. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. No, not always, SAG. Especially on your COCs, certification, or CPMA. They're going to give you a couple of questions that will say stuff like how many body areas were were gone over. And you have to decide based off how many body areas or organ systems were reviewed to know whether you would bill a comprehensive or an expanded problem focused. Sometimes they won't give you the history, and you'll have to know that no history at all means problem focused or expanded problem focused. History of seeing the patient before would be one detailed history, would be detailed. And you have to figure it out yourself, but usually it's on the specialty ones. It's usually not on the CPC. What they like to give on the CPC is one acute illness and one chronic illness. What would you bill? They're not going to give you the MDM. They're not going to give you the time. But if you had diabetes and UTI, what would you code? They were here for a UTI. They actually do have diabetes at the same time. What would you bill? You would need to know that it would be a 214 or a 204 because you've got one chronic and one acute illness. So those kind of things. If you just had the UTI by itself with no chronic conditions, then you could bill the 203 or the 213 because it's one acute illness. If they came in for abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, you sent them home and told them to stop eating, use the brat diet, call me in a few days. You know that's one self-limiting minor problem, and you would bill a 202 or a 2112. So those kind of things is what they ask if they're not going to give you the expanded problem focused and that kind of stuff. Is that okay? And I got a whole ton of videos on how to pick out which one of those it is. So keep watching. Tonight we're doing observations and hospitalizations. So 222 is admit hospital, right? What is our 219? Is that observation, admit, or discharge? I always forget. 219? 219 is admit, observation. Sometimes you have to bill the observation separately because you keep them overnight. So this is admit, observation. The 235, the difference between these observations is that third line. All of these from the 34, 35, 36. Be sure you note that these are the ones that are admit and discharge all on the same date. That third sentence is what you need to have highlighted. So 35 is observation, and we're doing admit and discharge all on the same day. And what's our 220? What the heck is that one? Is that even a code? Yep. That's initial observation care also. So it's probably a difference between the 19 and the 20. That's admit, observation. So we just need to see if the patient was sent home. Yeah. The patient was discharged the following day. So what does that last sentence tell you? So the 19 and 20 are on page 22 of the 2022 CPT book. The 35 code is on page 26. You got to get good at finding these codes. They're all out of sequence. They were admitted to the hospital for observation, so we can get rid of our initial hospital, right? We did an observation for a head injury. Yep. We can match up our MDM and stuff. We've got moderate MDM. The exam was comprehensive, and our history, is there any history at all? Comprehensive. So what would we bill for today? Comp, moderate. Sounds good to me. Perfect. 219. Our 20 has a high complex MDM where we were moderate. So we can't code the 20 because of this moderate MDM. So it has to be the 19. Technically you would have the 19 and then you would bill the observation discharge for the next day, which is our 17. So technically your answer would be 99219 with a comma, and then we'd have a 99217 for the next day discharge. It's technically the correct answer for the whole scenario. They don't tell us what to code, but we just have to assume what to code based off the available answers. But yes, it's the 219. All right, I'm going to skip a few of these because we're going to have to do some of these on, what is tonight? Friday night? We're going to have to do the rest of these on Friday night because I'm not getting to them all. All right. If I had a new patient for 43 minutes, what's the code? What am I coding? Third goal for tonight. New patient, 43 minutes. Yes, the cases are still multiple choices, and you have practice exam questions. If you've purchased AAPC's exam A, B, C, D, E, and F, the last 4 questions are cases, plus there's cases in your study guide. So don't be scared of those. And I have a whole bunch of cases listed in our Discord study group. Let me go check on my kids. Travis, come here. Now. I know you ain't on the TV.
Yes.
You're still grounded from that, right?
What?
Don't, what, me? You know you're grounded from the TV, so what are you doing sitting on that couch, number one? And with the remote control in your hand.
I'm playing the PS5. Playing a game that John got me.
There's too much noise going on out there. Sit down. I'm almost done, and I can't tell what's going on.
We're only progress.
Did John tell you to turn it on tonight and let you play it tonight? Did he give you the remote?
No.
Okay. You're not allowed to be on that TV, son, and you know it. Slap your sides again. It's going to do some good next time, I promise. Slap those knees. We can get a band going. Yeah? 43 minutes. New patient. What are we coding? 203? 43 minutes? 203. Yes, 203. Thank you, Twinkle. Establish patient for 43 minutes. Established patient for 43 minutes. It's not a, yes, 215. What about a new patient, 76 minutes? There you go. TikTok Mom's got it. 205 with the 417? Is that it? 417. Y'all know there's 9 nines ahead of those. Just yes, yes, yes. There you go. What about an established patient for 56 minutes? Good job, Sunshine. Yep. 215? Yep. 215 with the 417. Remember, the 417 does not go with anything in the entire CPT book other than the 215 and the 205. Everything after 99205 or 215, needs to have your history, your exam, and your MDM with it, unless it's critical care. So these up in the front from 99202 to 99215, all you need is time or an MDM. But if you're going to use a secondary code, this secondary code only goes with the 205 or the 215. 16 minutes, new patient. Oh, it's not a new patient. There you go, Steph. Yes, 202. Established 12 minutes. Established 12 minutes. Levy, got it. Good job. Thank y'all for joining. Be sure and hit that follow button so y'all can do some of these with me. What is the one time you can't use time in these E&M visits? From 99202
Can I please go back out there?
to 99215, there is one thing that happens. And when it does happen, you cannot use time for these codes at all. You have to use MDM. What is it? Anybody know? Look at Rosalind. Yes. If your patient also gets psychological treatment from you, then you record the time of the psych visit, which you do bill with time. Even if your doctor says, I spent 30 minutes counseling the patient, but then I spent 15 minutes going over medicine reconciliation or something, you can't use that. You have to have the doctor give you MDM because you included psych in your visit. So psych will be billed with an additional 99 code, whatever it is back there in medicine, for your psych visit. And when that happens, when you do a regular office visit with it, you can't use time for it. You have to use an MDM. So good job. Good job, good job, good job. Let's do a little cardiology. Okay, you can't be on that TV. You can't be on that couch.
That's why I wanted to go there.
You know that. I'm going to make you come back in here and hang out with me.
Off the TV.
Why aren't you watching what I put on? I put on Edward Scissorhands and I wanted it on. Put it back on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Did Grandma finish making the chicken?
Yes.
All right. Let's do some cardiology in our last 15 minutes. Sorry. I'll do some more cardiology on Friday night too. And I'll finish up on those 2 E&M visits too. I think y'all have done that pulse generator enough. Let me find some newer ones. Newer ones. All right. All right. Always go to the answers first. Always. Let's go see what our differences are. I do like to use the process of elimination here. Anything that's not an E&M, I don't mind it. I like looking at it. And what I mean by that is it's to cut down your time. So we've got, they're all 3s. They're all 3s. They're all 6s. Then we've got this weirdo who's a 7. So I'm not going to pay attention to it for right now. But I am going to pay attention to the 47 and the 45. Maybe even the 41 because they're close together. And I'm going to go see what those differences are really quick. So 3, 3, 6, 4, 5. Usually the process of elimination works out, 99% of the time. Every once in a while, it is going to be your weirdo outlier. But if you remember your number 1 rule, which is headers before descriptors, you're not going to get caught in one of those. Just because these are all similar doesn't mean it's the answer, but it's very likely it is. So 3, 3, 6. We're going to look at our header first and make sure we're supposed to be there. Before we worry about our descriptor, the descriptor is the words that are written right after the CPT code number. The header could be 3 or 4 pages away, but it's going to be big, bold stuff away from these codes that'll tell you what procedures you're under, whether you're laparoscopic, whether you're surgical, whether you're doing excisions or biopsies, whatever. All right, 3, 3, 6, 4, 1. I'm still not even at the codes. You got to be faster than me for sure. 3, 3, 6, 4, 1. So 4, 1, 4, 5, and 4, 7 are under septal defects. So if we're not under a septal defect, we might have to keep going, but so is our 7, 5. It actually is on the same page. So that's cool. Our differences are, we've got a suture closure. We've got a patch closure. We've got stitches or patch. So we could do one or the other. One of them's got an atrial, one of them's venous, and one of them's both atrial and venous. So the main thing is to know, am I atrial, am I venous? So what I do is anything that's atrial, I circle in red. Anything that's venous, I circle in blue. So I know right away I'm atrial or I'm venous or I'm both. That's super helpful. And then I've got my 1-word differences on the sides there that help me out with the procedure. So let's check out, are we atrial or venous or both? We are under a septal defect. I see that really quick. Try not to read every single word, but look for atrial or venous. We do have an atrio. Long time no see. Aw, Good to see you, Chaos. Where you been? You do not use time in ER that I know of. We use our 3 components. Right atrium, right atrial. I see a patch too. We're atrial with a patch. Take your time, Chaos. It's fun to go away and then come back too sometimes, especially for these subjects, because I seem to learn better when I've had a good break too sometimes. If I've been hitting it too hard, I just don't see anything different at all because I'm seeing the same things over and over again. But then when I walk away from it and then come back, then I can see it differently, if that makes any sense. So if we're just atrial and we're just defect with no venous, then we can get rid of the 7-5 and the 4-7. It's not going to be either one of those because we're not venous and we're not ventricular. So if you know it's just atrial and we're fixing it, then it's probably our 41, right? Yep, I like our D. And do we ever code symptoms? There's usually an easier way of figuring out what the answer is by getting rid of anything that's diagnosed with symptoms, because we don't diagnose symptoms when we have a diagnosis. We don't need to do the shortness of breath when we have the reason for her shortness of breath, which is her fibrillation. We just wouldn't code it. So that automatically eliminates these answers, which would be a whole lot easier to look at it anyway. And then the difference of your 75 and your 41, one's ventricular and one's atrial. Right away, you don't see any ventricular in here at all. And because this one's ventricular only and this one's atrial, you can answer it that way too. Another way you can answer it from AA's point of view, 99% of the time, if they're giving you a list of codes from small, medium, large, they're trying to get you to code these because they want you to think more things are involved and make you code higher. Usually the answer is usually the very first code, the most least amount, the lowest paying code. You get more money for the higher up the numbers are. It's usually not ever that answer. It's usually the more conservative, very first code out of the bunch. Yeah, no. Don't read the textbook. No way. Yep. We are going. I have, however, been watching your YouTube videos. Aw, awesome. Yep. You don't want to read these questions. You'll never get through the exam. You want to find out what your differences are. You want to look for coding irregularities. Those kind of things will definitely help you get through this exam a lot faster. So when they give you an answer twice, really pay attention to that. I see 2 that start off with the very same answer. We, of course, have a 16 and an 18. They're all going to be super close, but there's a reason why they put those 2 codes together. They put one with a modifier on it first, and then one not So it's probably just a difference between, do you know if that one needs that modifier or not? So let's go roll to that 93015 and see what's going on here. 930. We're back here in medicine, but it's still cardiology. 93015. This one includes supervision and interpretation and monitoring. I'm not quite sure why we would use the 26 modifier if it already includes it. And in my notes, it says you would use the 26 modifier on the 16 and the 18, and you would use the technical component modifier on 17, but I don't have anything on the 15. And the CPT code descriptor says it includes the interpretation and report. So I would feel confident in picking that C is the answer and moving on without reading even the question. But that's just me. You guys can battle it out and read your question. No, I'm not going to be doing any 2023 questions until 2023 or until maybe December-ish, like for when I know nobody's taking their exam anymore, you know, and everybody I've got is just waiting till January or mid-year to take it, then I will be switching up questions to the new codes, but not until way closer. I know I have people that are taking it around like December 11th, somewhere around there. So we will switch over to the 23 codes when the exam changes, basically. They do come out early, but we don't start using them. Year's end is a good goal to get, and I'm glad all of them are online now, and you get 2 attempts. That's awesome. It just gives people and companies time to read them and change, what they need to. Yep, it sure does. Yours is coming Saturday. Woohoo! Awesome. Good, Kinza. Be sure to look at the questions and go look up the codes for the wrong answers too. Don't just memorize the right answers. Look up and see why the wrong answers are wrong and why the right answers are right. You don't want to just memorize A, B, C, or D. Like this one, we don't put the modifier 26 near it because it already includes interpretation and report. If you haven't written that down beside it, then that's something to write down because you learned from this question why it's wrong. So you want to go make a note next to it so they don't trip you up during the exam. You'll know right away. You've already got the note written down which ones you do add 26 modifier to it as we find those. But yes, C is your answer. Very good. There's you a diagnosis one. I'm not going to make any comments. I'm going to let y'all fight it out. Would we be doing symptoms first, then the drug? Or do we do the drug first and then the symptoms? This is a guideline question. Thank you, Twinkle. See you later, Chaos. Yes, I'll be around on Friday. I'm taking the next week off. The boys are out of school for fall break, and I'm taking my mom fishing the 9th through the 14th. We drove back on that Friday, so there won't be any lives next week, guys. So be sure and be here on Friday. And I'm pretty sure I'll be doing more 2023 ICD-10 book prep on YouTube before I leave on Sunday the 9th. And I'm taking the book with me to go fishing because it's boring. Let my mom fish. I'll watch. Yep. Medical Coding by Jen. Everything is Medical Coding by Jen. You can go to my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com, and you can, when you get there, you can do the drop-down menu for social media links, and everything's there. The Facebook group, the TikTok, the YouTube channel, and the Discord group. That's where our real study group is, where all the info is at. Don't forget to join the Discord group. It has Practicode. Yep, I've got practice exam question rooms. Just more information than y'all could ever read, really. But there's tons of help and support, tons of rooms in here that just post any question you've got, you can get help with. For sure, you've got copies of my books and resources in here, just tons of videos, anything and everything you could possibly need. It's all in our Discord group because Facebook group won't show you what we've posted in pictures unless you've been a part of the group the whole time. So this is a place where I store everything. So it's all here. Even job help, CEU help, everything is all here in Discord. And you can get all those from my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. And it's all free help. Nobody's going to sell you anything. Yeah, my mom's missed fishing for so long. Her and my dad were fishing buddies. They even went on their honeymoon fishing. Oh my God. I was in a cooler, that was my playpen when I was little. And man, they were married 40 something years. And he's been gone since 2013 and she hasn't been fishing since then. So feeling pretty guilty about it. So I finally got her a cabin on the lake, an Airbnb, and then we're going to rent a pontoon boat so she can get in and on off of it. Not a bass boat like what she used to have, but a pontoon boat and let her go fishing. So, yeah. She's 71, 72 in February this year. So make sure she gets fishing in one more time, at least. Thank you for the follow. I hope I can help y'all out. How long does it take to get the practice exams? It's instantaneous when you do buy them from AAPC. Your mom's 73? Yay. That's awesome. I heard it's going to rain Sunday and Monday while we're there. But hopefully Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday she'll get some fishing in. Your mom is 97? Oh, what a blessing. That's cool. Levy's working hard. So if the doctor does it to you, does the drug go first or the symptoms go first? If you do it to yourself, it's the opposite way. So if you take too many mushrooms, if you alcohol poisoning, you took too many Tylenol, whatever, the drug goes first. Right there, if you did it to yourself. But since this was given by the doctor, the symptoms go first. That's a guideline. Be sure you know that. It will be on the test. Some random question like this. And usually your drug unintentional adverse effect is usually the X5. So that might save you from even having to look up any ICD-10 codes. Usually it's the X5, no matter what drug it is, throughout the entire ICD-10 book. I haven't found anything that was anything different. Some of these X2 is like suicidal or intentional or whatever, murderous intentions, whatever. But the X5 is just an adverse reaction. So it's usually the same thing. So I always like to keep the X5 known in my head. I got 5 fingers on my hand, so if I'm having to do the diagnosis of a drug for an adverse effect, I remember 5. Yes, I can repeat that again. So if you're an idiot and you drink too much, or you take some pill out of your mom's purse that she gave you, whatever, the drug always goes first. If you did it to yourself, it was not prescribed to you, then the drug goes first, which is always your T codes. The symptoms, which are the R codes, always goes first if the doctor does it to you. They prescribe you a prescription and then you have an adverse reaction to it. You get a slow heartbeat, or you turn purple and almost die, like I did one time with penicillin. I got a shot of penicillin and was given oral antibiotics of penicillin, even though I was allergic to it. Kind of weird. But anyway. Cats. If the doctor does it to you, symptoms go first. If you do it to yourself, the drug goes first. You're welcome. Well, I hope tonight's been super helpful. Be sure and tune in this Friday. Don't forget to follow, and don't forget to switch your alerts, because if you hit that little bell on my name that you usually get up, like I could go to anybody on TikTok, I guess, right? If you don't, like if I was going to follow whoever this guy is, when I hit follow, you have to go up here to the little bell and you have to switch the option that comes up after the bell to get an alert for everything when you go live. I'll be live again on the 7th, 6:30 Arizona time zone. We'll do the rest of those E&M practice codes and some more cardiology and some more tidbits about the exam, and answer any questions you've got. Other than that, if you're in our Discord group, I'll be announcing when I go live to do the ICD-10 guideline updates for, this won't even hurt you guys that are still planning on taking it during the 2022 year. If you wanted to watch me do my notes from beginning to end on guidelines, that you could actually do in your 2022 book while I'm doing them in the 2023 books, I'll announce it in our Discord chat room. So it'll pop up. And I also announce it on the Facebook Messenger little thingy too. So let y'all know there too. But I'll be finishing up these guidelines the next 3-4 days so that I can get on moving through here and get more of the diagnosis stuff updated on the actual codes that I need to get done throughout the book. But yes, hope this has been helpful. Y'all holler at me or twinkle, whatever. I'm trying to get to everybody's messages as I can. I am backed up. Just look at all these messages that I still haven't gotten to on Messenger. It's just all the light, bright ones. Yeah, I have not done none of those. So I got a lot, but I'm trying. I'll eventually get caught up, I'm sure, while they're fishing. All right, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank y'all so much for the goals and the subscriptions. Be sure and message me what kind of TikToks y'all'd like to see too.